There's the LA Times. Kamala Harris says she's not running for California governor. No surprise to viewers of the morning meeting, because the host of the show the other day made it pretty clear to you we didn't think she'd run for governor. Kaivan, you first. Based on what you know, what you think, does this mean she's running for president, or is she, for now, at least done with electoral politics?
It sounds like to me her path is going to be trying to tour the country, get involved in midterms, and see how it goes. I do think, I had a piece in The Hill a couple weeks ago saying that the Democratic Party needs her to run for governor of California because I think both for herself and for the party, it would be better to have that break. I don't know that she's going to be able to, now out of office, not as the vice president, not in another office, command the same attention and platform that she would have as governor. And you can imagine, I think when Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump, she did take a minute to sort of come back into the forefront and comment. And every time she did, she got so much attention for it. So you could imagine Kamala Harris running for governor of California, sort of attacking Trump from that lens would have been a very powerful move and sort of seed way for an open 2028 primary that I think the Democratic Party sorely needs at this point.
Hogan, do you think her chances of running for president now are high or low or unknown?
I think he's right, because what you typically do in these situations is you go around and test the waters again. Obviously, her name ID is extremely high because she just ran for president. I, for one, want her on the national stage as much as she can possibly be. I'm here for a run for governor. I want her to run for president again. Whatever it takes to get her in front of a camera or to keep giving speeches, I'm all here for it. That being said, as Barack Obama famously joked about Donald Trump, I want to be careful what I wish for here because that can backfire on you in a big way. But I do think the party's looking for some direction. You typically are rudderless when you don't have the White House because there's no one who's leading the party. They're kicking the tires on a lot of folks, and that's what this midterm season will be about, and we'll see who emerges.
Dan, I think the dirty little secret here, as pertains to her not running for governor, besides the fact that I don't think she wanted to be governor, and about whether she run for president, is something you know quite a bit about: fundraising. I think she would do decently raising small dollars, but I don't know that big bundlers want to help her raise money. Do you think if she runs for president, or she ponders whether to run for president, that her fundraising capacity is something that may hinder her a go decision?
Yes, I do, because I think her problem is she has no base right now in that I think major donors are very frustrated. She would really have to assure them that she would be different than 2019, where, remember, she didn't even make it to Iowa. This was obviously a very unique situation, but there's frustration about how money was spent. Low dollar, look, it's going to be an open primary. She is going to be competing with people like J.B. Pritzker, who's been very vocal anti-Trump. For as much as I bang my head against a wall about Cory Booker, don't underestimate that for low dollar, the party faithful, they love what he's doing. Is she going to be a moderate? Would she be progressive? Like, she is always so cautious, and low dollar money is raised by being loud, being aggressive, and having something to say. So I don't really see, the rationale. I'll be curious if people like Roy Cooper in North Carolina, John Ossoff in Georgia, who's going to want her to come campaign? I don't see it. So as she travels around, going to safe blue districts, great, but I don't think people will be asking for her.
Raise your hand, any of the three of you, if you think if she announced she was running for president, she could raise at a single event in New York more than $1 million, hard dollars. Raise your hand if you think she could raise $1 million. Anybody? Yeah. I mean, if you're going to run for president as a heavyweight front runner, not an insurgent, which she would have to do, you got to be able to raise $1 million in New York. I mean, you just have to. And I don't know that she could.
All right. And the headline would be, I mean, look, if you put 15 candidates out there, she's one of those names everyone's going to look at. And so if you're not first by a lot, the only story for her is she can't do it. Like, what a way to launch your campaign.
Yeah. and it'd be the same, I think, for governor. There's, as everybody knows, there's nowhere to run or hide on how much you're raising. When the disclosure date comes, you got to fess up. And if you're the former vice president of the United States and the polling front runner, you got to be able to raise real money. And I just don't know that she could. And I think from conversations I've had with folks, they seem to think that's part of the calculus here. It's not the whole thing, but it's part of it. Go ahead, Hogan.
Let me dissent in one way. I think there are some instances we've seen in the past, whether it be McCain, Reagan, um, others who have run a couple times before they actually get Biden.
Yeah.
They've run a few times. So theoretically, you'd be like, no way, no way, no how. But at the same time, if you're looking around the room and there's no one out there with any power whatsoever, you could default
Yeah.
back to her. Again, I'm here for it. I'm just saying, let's not pretend like this hasn't happened before.
Well, I think like the bigger challenge too is had she run for governor, I see an opportunity for her to have reset and get back to her much more moderate roots, which of course she was bashed for in 2019, but that is who she is. And that's really how she built her career. And I think that was much more compelling than where she ended up in November of 2024, because I think they were trying to build this coalition that didn't make a lot of sense, sort of catering more towards the left wing of the party. She could have stepped back and said, this is my campaign on my terms in my home state. Here's what we got a bit wrong, and sort of done that. Now she can't. I just don't understand what the reset is for her. What will she be doing? I mean, traveling the country, defending the Biden-Harris record isn't going to be compelling to anyone. So I don't see how she gets in there.
True, too.
Last tea leaf. If you go now look at leading news websites, if you look at cable news, people are treating this not like a big lead story. Jake Tapper interviewed Speaker Pelosi this afternoon and barely got to the question, asked her about a bunch of stuff before then. And again, that tells you, and I don't read the chat, but I glance at it, this community, again, very dismissive, including Democrats, of her prospects. She is the front runner, and she is determined. So we'll see. Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss a clip. And you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.